They can't hear shit.
Got it.
Okay. Once more with feeling. Fuck OBS. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fated Continuum, the Legendary Journeys. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me is our resident three-eyed master of puns, good brother Joe.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yep, coming through just fine now. Apologies for earlier, folks. I thought I had that taken care of, but apparently not. So,
listen, you're a gaming monk, not a tech monk.
That is true. I'm not one of those people obsessed with the weakness of flesh.
And you don't consistently pray to the machine spirits. Though considering how often this happened, you probably should.
Oh. Yeah, but that's like praying to the dice gods.
Nuffle protects, but only when they want to.
So, we are back once again with the episode I had planned a couple weeks ago, but things ended up happening, so that wasn't able to be a thing. But for those of you who are new to this, Fated Continuum is a series discussing the adaptation of different Final Fantasy entries and potentially other games in the future into the Legend Edition TTRPG that I developed. And so far we have gone through 1 through 13. We are saving the MMOs for last because of the sheer volume of content.
Indeed, indeed.
And on the plus side, with bringing you in for this and waiting a bit to do it, I think gave a bit of time to familiarize yourself with how Legend Edition works.
Just a bit.
Like, I wasn't expecting you to read it cover to cover. Obviously, I'm not that crazy.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to read it cover to cover?
It wasn't mandatory to. But you probably did anyways, didn't you?
I neither confirm nor deny anything.
Uh-huh. So, I realized that FF15 had a tumultuous development, first being Versus 13 as part of the Fabula Nova project, and then going through years of silence until eventually it became its own thing. But I cannot deny having a soft spot for it. Part of it is the very kids on bikes Midwest adventure motif that a large amount of the story has. But also how on the nose they were with that they ended up using as the theme song a cover of "Stand by Me" by Florence and the Machine. And I do remember some people getting up in arms about it going more for an action focus as opposed to turn-based. Because there is this mindset among some parts of the fan base that in order for it to be properly Final Fantasy, it needs to be turn-based.
I mean, only for major diehards from the early console eras, sure. But not really.
This is something I've talked about plenty of times in this series and while developing Legend Edition. The core of FF has been iteration and experimentation. And when a lot of people go into diatribes about what FF is supposed to be, it is using previous entries as the foundation for that argument.
As a reminder, no two Final Fantasies were exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. And that ends up betraying what the real argument is, which is it isn't like the entry that I grew up with, so therefore it's not legitimate. Which
people make the same argument with D&D.
Oh yeah, and I have roasted them over an open flame just as much. I know that the current staff that are running 5th edition did a thing about how they felt D&D has lost its way. And I'm like, you guys caused this, so you get no sympathy from me.
We can always go back to the era of wargaming.
Oh. Let's not say we didn't. Oh, I know some people would really want it to go back to white box, and I'm like, that is not reasonable one bit. Oh.
Nope.
And as I've said in the past, that kind of attitude of sticking to tradition. As much as I love Dragon Quest, that's part of the reason Dragon Quest lost a lot of its momentum. Because of the fact that it did not adapt quickly enough to keep up with everyone else. Sticking to its traditions for way too long. And I think tradition. Yep. The big case in point is the response that Dragon Quest VII got. Now, yes, Dragon Quest VII, there's nothing wrong with it, but you look at what it was doing, and then you look at what Capcom was doing at the same time. You look at what Konami was doing at the same time. You look at what Media.Vision was doing at the same time. Hell, you look at what Treasure was doing the same time. Like, everybody was experimenting with the formula. Dragon Quest wasn't enough.
No, they were just kind of riding the coattails.
And hell, even in the SNES era, I know people make a big deal about the introduction of vocations, but whenever I saw the vocations, I was not impressed because I just saw D&D classes when everyone else when at the same time, by that point, say Final Fantasy was already establishing unique character classes.
Like, it was literally just like the job classes from hired adventurers who were nameless and had no character personality.
Which Wizardry had been doing that shit for years.
In a far deadlier manner.
far deadlier and sometimes dickish manner. Oh,
Sometimes.
look, Wizardry is a case study in evil game design.
Yep,
Not bad,
yep, yep, yep.
not incompetently made, just evil. And that am I saying that it needed to completely overhaul its approach? No, not really. But a new perspective needed to happen, which is why I think Dragon Quest VIII was such a success.
I swear, if I see the word luminary one more time.
But 8 was developed by Level 5
It
instead of the
was.
usual team. And they essentially brought the same energy that they were doing anyways to the game.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to willing to even something as mundane as the psych up system was at least an attempt at doing different things. Even the skill based ability subtypes that they gave was was a step in the direction of trying to experiment with the formula.
Admittedly, every time I see the psych up system, the only thing I can think of is, oh look, Akira Toriyama helped with this. Let's make it a little more Dragon Ball.
It's yeah, I mean he was the he was the definitive art design from day one, so there you go. But the idea that FF needs to be turn-based, for example, is something that Hiroyuki Ito certainly didn't follow. I've
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I know with a lot of the series I have given a lot of glaze towards Ito, but part of that is due to the fact I feel even a lot of Final Fantasy fans don't give him his flowers. Despite the massive impact he's had. Things like ATB, the job system, a lot of the scenario setups in 6, that was all him. And that includes things like the sphere grid in 10 and the license board in 12. Those were his designs. And he had been very consistent in saying that he felt RPGs would lean more and more into action as technology improved. And ATB was his way of moving that along. I know I talked about this a while back when I was covering 4 in this series, which is the first introduction of the ATB system. But it is still applicable. And he knew things would go into action all the way back in 1991. So this idea of FF needs to be turn-based because the past games I liked were turn-based. What you're saying is that you want this a series that is all about experimentation to run in place.
Sounds about right.
Run in place for no other reason than familiarity. And that is how you get what we call design by gospel. And I have said many times, if you want to see where that story ends when it comes to doing the same kind of design for tradition's sake, look at the state of sim racing games. And how a lot of games in that genre are very samey and end up having a bunch of bugs because they're more concerned with adding more stuff or focused on quote-unquote realism. And then the game breaks in new and interesting ways. Like I enjoy several of the Codemasters run of F1 games. but I also acknowledge that sometimes the games can be completely jank.
Sometimes.
And when fans of those kind of games are arguing about the way the cars work, and the person they're arguing against is an actual driver, I think we've crossed a threshold.
Just a bit.
Uh, but with 15, this was the first and only attempt at doing the service model with a bunch of free updates and paid DLC. Um, this was the only time that was done. I feel like it was one of those things of, well, let's do it to see what happens. And around that same time, there were some interesting side games, like that one beat 'em up that was actually better than it had any right to be. Uh, the game called A King's Tale.
Yep.
Which I think the big takeaway that I had of it is I would pay good money for a full on Final Fantasy beat 'em up.
A Warriors Final Fantasy would be glorious.
I mean, Team Ninja's already worked with Square in the past. They were one of the co-developers for Dissidia NT.
Like, take Dissidia, but make it Warriors. Gold! Gold!
Yeah. Oh. And hell, if Fire Emblem can work as a Musou, then why not? Not only work as a Musou, but do it twice. And yes, I did see the Kingslave movie as well, because I had the limited edition version of 15. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kingslave movie came along with it. Which the movie isn't bad, but it is kind of undercut because the protagonist in that story isn't going to live to the end.
They're totally gonna no. No, they're not.
Mm-hmm. But I do remember one controversy was the fact that you could do combos by just holding a button down, and some people were hemming and hawing about how, oh, that's gonna make the thing too easy. It's dumbing down the game for casuals or whatnot. But when you look at it in the context of how the game actually plays, setting up combos like it's a character action game was not really the point. 15's combat system plays a lot more emphasis on positioning and manipulating the immediate environment rather than traditional combos.
True.
Especially since the idea very much is the team is the weapon. You know, the strongest way to use the game's mechanics is by using the totality of the foursome instead of just acting like you're going solo. That kind of thing wouldn't come till later. And as I've mentioned, the the idea of going into a more, even if they went into a more turn-based approach with combat, like this was 13 or something, it wouldn't have worked. Especially given the loop of not getting your experience until you camp up. But the reason why I have a soft spot for 15's setup is, even with all of the issues, there is a very committed voice to it. It doesn't have as much impact when we get to Act 3, but I can see what was trying to be done, and a united voice towards that goal. Am I making sense?
That makes sense.
Uh, and I know people made a bunch of boy band jokes about Noctis and his retinue, but I've been hearing those jokes for years, and it's a case of, that's a really nice argument. Did Noah give it to you? But with that said, I think a good place to start is figuring out how one might figuring out the job and class combo for the cast. Now, some of them I
Yeah.
kind of did, and admittedly there is going to be some trickiness because of the whole ascension grid, but there's enough. I think there's enough there to work around. Starting with um, Noctis, Lucius, Caleb. Uh, Now, did you go through the
15. Right. Got
yeah
it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
yeah? Now, did you go through the way I have jobs and classes work in Legend Edition?
Yes.
Right. So,
In fact, I've been refreshing myself this entire time.
yep, it is a different approach, one that
Mhm.
got me in a bit of hot water in some places. Namely with some people who are like, why didn't you put a ranger job in it? Which I'm like, why would I need it?
Well, in case you need to be a teenager with attitude in order to save Angel Grove.
I really do not want to think about the um, official Power Rangers RPG anytime soon.
There is no official Power Rangers RPG.
Is that like how there's no cow level?
And just like there's no Warren Bossing say, yes, you're getting it.
Mm-hmm. But okay, so based on what you've seen with the class and job setup, first off, which of the 4 classes do you think would be a good fit for Noctis?
Considering he's like the main character and is able to like be your kind of middleman kind of deal, I want to say adept starting off.
All right.
Like at first you would think warrior, right? But he does interesting things, but he also doesn't quite fit the expert role in my opinion. He's a lot of it's hard
He
for me to phrase, but like you see what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, he is the jack of all trades middle ground character,
Exactly.
which is why his
And
associated weapon is swords. which is typically
Hmm.
depicted as the jack of all trades weapon.
So, with that in mind, for the first associated job, it's kind of a hard sell between uh, m- Magic Knight, maybe. No, I'm not. I don't think that actually works. Rune Knight, perhaps.
Um,
No.
Kingsglaive and Crownsguard are musts.
Well, yes, definitely, but like not as like the first thing. Like those two are all automatically slotted in. I'm thinking of like what else goes there.
Um, if it has to be a adept, I would say Sword Saint.
I was looking at that. Every time I think of Sword Saint, I keep on thinking of like your uh Thunder God Sids, you know? But
There were some people who
I
yelled
see
that
it.
I didn't design the Sword Saint to be exactly like Sidolphus Orlando.
Of course not. Cause he's an end game entity. You're not gonna start off anything like that.
Well, that and you look at his kit and he has all of the knight class abilities along with a bunch of others, and that's not something I can build a playstyle around, especially when I already have
Yeah, the only
knight.
thing he's missing is the only thing he's missing is Beowulf's power set, and then he would be absolutely broken. But he's already absolutely broken, so
And that's why I took the approach that I did, because I felt each job needs to have
perfectly fine.
a defined playstyle that they lean into. This is also the reason why I don't have paladins getting access to white magic.
That's like saying Dark Knights need to have black magic.
When the magical ability isn't the key part of the identity of either of those jobs, at least in my
Nope.
opinion. Paladin's core identity is cover. Dark Knight's identity is
Yep.
Soul Eater.
But yeah, Sword Saint actually works really well
Mm-hmm.
now that
Especially
I'm looking
since
at it.
there's a lot of there's a lot of building up kind of effects. Uh, I was very tempted to go with Warrior and give him Fighter, but I ultimately decided against it.
Okay, there's another one that I can pop in there, but I think it's another independent job, so it would take away from the fact that he needs Kingsglaive and Crownsguard. Because hilariously enough, I think Keyblade of the Dawn would work.
That's a bit lulzy, but it would mean having to lose Kingsglaive or Crownsguard, because you can't
Yeah,
have
that's why
all
I said it.
independents. um,
Or not Dawn, Mastery. Sorry,
mhm.
Key Bearer of Mastery. But yeah, no, but you're right. That's the only reason why I didn't say it, because it's not like you can have 3 independents.
Mhm. But then we have the Master of Recipes, Ignis Scientia.
That reminds me of a recipe.
Uh,
No, hold on. I've come up with a new recipe.
mhm.
I'm sorry. I was channeling like that one. I was channeling Professor Layton for a moment.
Yep. But I did enjoy hit. I did. I will admit I enjoyed his particular DLC episode.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I'll be honest. I didn't see it coming.
mhm. Ha!
Kind of blindsided me.
But
I regret nothing.
so now I know I know it would be very tempting to give him Dragoon because his two favored weapons are daggers and pole arms.
Yes.
But given his kit, I have a different approach that I think would work. I think would work. Um, for
Okay.
starters, um, Ninja is definitely one because he definitely fights more like a ninja than a dragoon, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'd also
But anyway, go on.
I also would
For
say
starters.
Magic Knight
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. I can see it. I can see it.
and oh, General.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
I know it would be tempting to give Crown's Guard to each of the retinue, but I don't think that's a good idea. It is a bit of a
No.
bottleneck.
Um.
And as far as class, um, I think as tempting as it would be to go with adept, I think going with expert is is closer to the
Yeah.
mark.
I was looking at expert. Um. Like a part of me wants to go chemist because of the cooking thing. But I think Dynamo might fit him better if we had to choose something specifically from expert.
General is in expert.
Though I do see what you're saying with generate.
Mhm.
Huh?
General is in expert.
No, I know.
Yep.
I was giving another option aside from
Mhm.
general. I think Dynamo might fit him, but I do see what you're saying with general.
Mhm. A big reason I went with Ninja and Magic Knight is a big part of his kit is Elemental Infusion.
Mm-hmm. Completely understandable.
But then we have Gladiolus Amicita.
Amicitia.
Yeah. Latin is weird.
Yeah.
Then again, language
Especially
is weird.
Latin when it's used in Japanese. Language is always weird.
Yeah. So let's get the
So,
obvious out of the
fighter,
way.
hands
Warrior.
down.
um, Warrior definitely. Fighter, I'm
A
not so
warrior.
sure.
Sorry, I keep on mixing the two.
Mhm.
Definitely warrior. Knight feels right.
I
Or
could,
berserker.
um, I could
But definitely
see,
knight. Go ahead. Sorry.
I could see Knight. His
Hmm.
his favored equipment is great swords and shields. Um,
Sentinel, maybe.
yeah, I think Sentinel can certainly work. I know it'd be tempting to go with Paladin, but Paladin I feel like he's not that sort of sacrificing HP approach. I don't think fits him. He is meant to be
No.
the
He
tankiest tank.
he is the frontliner. He is the tank. He is the shield that protects the entire party.
Hmm.
Um. So in that sense,
Fencer.
fencer. Hmm. I also I also want to put Rune Knight in there because it also gives that kind of identity of protecting the party from both physical and magical threats.
Except he's not very good with magic. And the big reason I went with
No,
Fencer
you're right.
is forcing aggro on him. Uh, which
Yeah, no, I see it now.
which as a with given Sentinel and Knight, that's going to be what he's going to want to do. Um, because
So what would the third be?
no, that's all. That's three of them: Knight, Sentinel, and Fencer.
Oh, got it. Got it. Got it.
Um, Knight's break abilities put a hard cap on dice rolls. Sentinel can gimp damage to boost their defense, and use that to perform Overwatch abilities. And Fencer
And then Fencer.
is all about forcing a target to focus on them, and be a royal pain in the ass to that one enemy because it's forcing them into a duel.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Uh, but then the youngest of the group, Prompto Argentum,
Mm-hmm.
uh, who was a pudgy kid before he got in shape, as shown in the um, Brotherhood anime. So his whole thing is firearms and machinery.
Machinery.
Uh, the
So
machinery weapons are all over the place. The firearms a little less so. Um, and Lionheart was fucking busted.
yeah. Yeah.
But
So right off the bat, expert.
mm-hmm.
Uh and then uh engineer or the mechanical stuff.
Yep.
Sniper as well, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't say I use a gun and not go sniper.
Means none of the jobs really, aside with one exception, none of the jobs really have a particular weapon requirement. But
Well, yes,
he,
but the sniper works very well with it. Yeah.
especially since his version of Cerberus is basically a sniper rifle anyways, so may as well take two stones with one bird. Oh.
Listen, if someone's gonna make a character who uses a gun and say they're not gonna be a sniper, I hope they're saying they're gonna be a summoner. In any case,
Oh, we're not going there.
aside from that, I'm trying to remember what else he could do.
I would say, given his particular setup, oh, let's see. There's a few potential ones. It still says, "Can you hit Dad?" But okay.
What's up?
He says, Sylph Spirit says dab. Nope, not. I don't dab.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I mean, even if I did, you wouldn't see anything.
but let me. Let me take a look at his particular links. So a bit of debuff. Oh, let's see.
Oh,
Sing Starship. A lot of there's quite a bit of debuff effects,
okay.
as well as things
Uh,
like trigger happy. So
like if they were item-based debuffs, I could maybe see chemist.
I would say Dynamo.
I was also looking at Dynamo. I wasn't exactly too sure because I didn't really like it felt right, but I also didn't fully understand what it did. I was just kind of staring at it.
Yeah, Dynamo's whole thing is building a momentum by hitting and not getting hit to do its particular brand of tricks.
That works.
Uh, especially since it does have some debuff capacity, and so does Sniper through called shots,
Mhm.
and both of them can play around with what they can and can't target. But that covers the core four. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to some of the guests, Core Leonis is the first one we have. Um,
Ah, the Marshal of the Crown's Guard and
yep,
leader of the Kingsglaive.
which let me just state for the record that the official uniform of the Kingsglaive and Crown's Guard, um, that is definitely winning the old game of drip or drop.
I'll be honest, I looked at them. The first thing I thought was Turk.
Uh, but now given his approach, um, even though you don't get a whole lot of time with him, class is definitely warrior, and one of the jobs has to be samurai.
I mean, I didn't want to say because it felt obvious.
I would say samurai is one of them. Another is um, weapon master.
Weapon Master? Yeah. Yeah. The last one's difficult because, like, do you play into the fact that he was the leader, or do you play more into the fact of his capability with weapon
I'd lean into the
as a
latter
warrior?
because his capability as a leader is not necessarily something that needs to give him general, because that's not his particular approach. I feel like
Then I would say swordsman.
let me give a counter offer. Dervish.
Okay. Okay, I see you cooking. I see you cooking.
'Cause there isn't a FF equivalent to Dervish, but it was a job that I put in because there were certain niches I wanted to fill. And Dervish's thing is a speed-based sister to Berserker. Berserkers hit hard,
Like,
Dervishes keep hitting.
there's there's a few Final Fantasies where you have a character who are few characters who kind of fill that blade dancer kind of niche, though they never really call themselves really anything because they're named characters and not classes.
Mm-hmm.
But I see what you're going with.
Yep. And
Although I will say I do like the fact that you made War Trance and Berserker's Rage completely separate from each other to the point that they can't be used at the same time.
Yeah, they are mutually exclusive. Oh, that the reason why I did that is because there is a bit of overlap between them in the sense that the limitation is a game of chicken. Because the longer you use it, the better,
Mhm.
the higher risk you have of rolling a botch. Which I thought was going to be a better way to do it than, oh, you use it for this amount of turns and then you're exhausted for the same amount of turns. No, that's stupid.
Mhm.
Not only is it stupid, but it also
Yeah, I can
incentivizes
see it.
being way too conservative with it. But as tempting as it would be um, to give a stat setup to Iris, she doesn't do a whole lot combat wise.
Next would be Arania then, yeah?
Yep. Who? There's already. I know you mentioned not wanting to go with the obvious, but in this case, I think it's necessary.
Dragoon.
Hmm.
Like, not all spear characters will be Dragoons, but Dragoon.
Yep.
So she's a fighter, she's a Dragoon. I think she might be a general as well.
Let's see. I would say looking at her particular
Like
kit.
15 is one of those where I only know like bits and pieces of,
Hmm.
unfortunately. So I'm like staring at her ability list, going, "What do you do?"
Well, because of the whole Magitech setup, where a lot of and her equipment is very Magitech enhanced. Oh,
True, true, true.
this might be a bit left field, but I'm thinking Magitech Knight.
Ooh, I can see it. I can see it.
I'd say in addition to that, um, I would
In
probably.
addition to that, maybe. Oh, go ahead.
Um, Weapon Master would be an easy choice to go with, but maybe a little too easy. Um,
Yeah.
Thief.
Really?
Especially given how she tends to like during nighttime, late into the story, there's a random chance where she will show up and help out, and then disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if not thief, then perhaps guardian.
Guardian. I can feel Guardian, yeah.
So you have a dragoon that has a bit more tanky opportunities, but also wants to get in the fray. Since Dragoon, of course, has the crit fishing approach with Blood of the Dragon and with Jump. Um,
Hmm.
Magitech Knight is an armor master that has a shield resource. And Guardian generates soul power when it gets hit, so it can hit back with stronger attacks.
I'll be honest, I was kind of looking at Guardian for Gladio. Because as the tank, you would want to get hit. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can see Guardian for her.
Mm-hmm. Uh, so let's see. Now, when it comes to when it comes to when it comes to the Kingsglaive movie, which is where Nyx appears, and is also a reincarnation of the meme of Sean Bean must die. Because yeah, he played a role in the movie. Oh,
So who are we doing next?
um, Nyx Ulrich, who didn't appear in the has references within the game. He mainly appears in the Kingsglaive movie.
Hmm. Let's see.
But
So he prefers kukris. He likes throwing them, even though he's also good at close range.
so I'd go with expert. Um,
Yeah, that sounds right.
Kingsglaive is obviously one of the jobs we got to go with.
Gotta.
I'd say another
I don't
is
think Crown's.
no thief. However, yes, especially given how I have sneak attacks work. Sneak attacks, because of the fact I'm not using a grid combat approach, there's no point in having some sort of flanking rule. So sneak attack
Mhm.
instead is triggered whenever you're attacking somebody who's lower on the initiative count than you. I.e.,
I
when
can see it.
yeah, whenever you're attacking somebody
I can
whose
see it.
initiative is lower than yours, you get extra sneak attack damage. Uh, they can also steal attributes from other um, targets.
I see it.
Mhm. And given the use of magic that he has, I'm fine with going with Black Mage.
Wait, isn't that four?
Hmm? No,
Thief,
Kingsglaive.
Kingsglaive, Black Mage. You're right.
Mhm. And I'd say, well, there were plans to give Lunafreya her own episode as well as Aranea, but that didn't happen. Um, and one of the DLCs eventually became that sequel novelization where Bahamut really exposed himself as an asshole. In fact, of the different ancient of the different Eidolons in 15, Bahamut is probably the biggest dick of all of them. Though I will note, I think Arden Izunia could is probably one of the strongest villains Final Fantasy has had.
Hmm.
I'm not.
Yeah, definitely.
He is an embodiment of the phrase "the road to hell is paved with good intentions." Because he was a king who was trying to do right by his people. And but because of how he did it, he was rejected by the purity-obsessed Bahamut. And all the more reason for his attitude of watch everything burn. But not when as tempting as it would be to do Arden in this, it would just be revisiting Noctis. So there's not as much point.
Yeah.
And as far as the Royal Arms, I already statted out the Royal Arms.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it'd be tempting to put in rules for Armiger Unleashed, but I didn't really that kind of mechanic isn't really something I built with I had in mind when building Legend Edition. Especially since it is so tied to the Royal Arms. So that's really something that should just be a house rule of being able to use Master of Arms with exclusively with that group.
Speaking of mechanics, we could go on a bit of a lark and try to stat the mechanics. But that wouldn't really do much.
No. That being said, let me see if I can. I do think statting out the recipes is something we can do.
Oh?
Because in the advanced rules, I have rules for cooking.
I've come up with a new recipe.
This particular rule is within the item synthesis rules, specifically the art of cuisine. Because I will level with you, most item creation systems in both tabletop and video game, I do not care for.
Suck.
And what I especially don't care for is the specificity of items. So you have long stretches of time where you have 2 out of the 3 ingredients that you need for that one recipe you want, but you have no idea where to get that third ingredient, And by the time you find that third ingredient, the recipe that you would have used is useless.
Hmm.
So, item synthesis, getting it is just a feat. There's a feat called Art of Synthesis. When you pick it, you pick one of the 5 subtypes: alchemy, battlecraft, cuisine, ritualism, tinkering. You can take the feat multiple times, you just take another subtype. This allows you to use elemental essences to craft for synthesis. That is the ingredient. I went with elemental essences because I didn't feel like putting in a bunch of ingredients and just balloon out that list for each subtype, or fall into the trap of needing specific material components like this is the material casters in D&D. No, fuck that noise. So, the Art of Cuisine entry is on page 436.
Or 36.
And I am looking at the full recipe list on the wiki. And admittedly, when I saw some of the foods, I was like, they need to make a cookbook of these. And then that did happen. Although some of the things that are in it are things that I probably wouldn't want to eat, like mystery meat sushi, which is just an attempt to make sushi but using spam.
So it's spam musubi, obviously.
Yeah, but it's still spam.
Listen, I'm Filipino. We grow up on the stuff. It's fine. Not that serious.
And in the case of spam, it's a principal thing because Midwest.
I keep on trying to find the item synthesis rules, but I can't seem to.
446 in the core book.
Oh, my book only goes up to 419. Oops.
I'm guessing you're using the spread version, not the singles version. The singles version has been retired, or not the singles version, the spreads version, because it didn't make sense to maintain 2 of them, especially due to other incidents. I've talked about that before.
Fair enough.
But the idea with recipes and the rest is they're all built on the essences. There are 5 essences spread among 4 tiers. The essences that are done are, the reason it's unified is for the sake of not falling into the same traps that other item creation setup does. And it's the idea of you're using the same resource just in different ways. Cuisine is about making food during non-combat scenes. Alchemy is about making new consumables, or making custom consumables. Battlecraft is about making custom weapons. Ritualism is about making more widespread forms of magic in an area. And also
but what happens if I want to... Oh, go ahead.
Tinkering is about making traps as well as a very limited type of multi-classing and things like ammo and explosions.
But I wanted to turn that monster I'm fighting into lunch now.
Uh, Actually getting essences is a orienteering roll. The higher you roll, the higher tier of essence you end up getting. Um, Now, the type of essence that you get is based on the environment. I didn't list off suggested environments for each because that would get way too much into the weeds. So it's a GM call. Though the energy essence is meant to be a wild card.
I love gambling.
Uh, it can take the role of the other. It can take the role of one of the other four elements. Is the thing. Um,
Oh, got it, got it. That kind of
mhm,
wild card.
yeah, and the approach is that the benefits you get from the food last until your next downtime. You can do a simple meal, which just grants temp, HP, and MP, or you can do a complex meal, which grants temp, HP, and MP, as well as an additional feature depending on the tier of the essence tier used. So, looking at the thing, first we have flame roasted toast, making toast, butter and toast.
Okay, Mr. Popo.
So it just gives a attack boost.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that is a case of getting of just tier 1 earth. Since one of the earth features is weapon attacks generate 1 boon. And hold on a second. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry to turn something off. Let's see. Toasty rice balls gives a HP boost. I think toasty rice balls would just be a simple recipe. Because all that it does is just increase max HP. So, croque madame, or fluffy fried egg on toast.
I like croque madames.
Uh, so it gives an attack boost and strength plus 30. So I'd say this would be another I'd say this would be Earth 2. Uh, Actually, no. Earth 1 is since the minimum amount of features you can get is 2. Earth 1 would still apply. Uh, so let's see. Veg. And actually,
Where's the list with the foods again?
Um, let me send that to you directly.
Oh wait, these are the foods that you can make in Final Fantasy. Got it.
Yeah.
Final recipes.
Although, instead of listing off the individual ones, I think it might be best to list off the effects and would um, which ones would fit,
Okay.
since there's a lot of recipes.
Yeah. And a lot of them give like multiple different kinds of boosts.
Yep. So,
Like you have your base ones that
mhm,
that do like only a little bit of things, but like the veggie medley is strength and HP boost.
yep. So any HP boost would just be a simple recipe.
Okay. And then strength or attack would be earth because it's PCM.
Yep. PCM
So
or
that covers
giving a boon to
lot
weapon
of those.
attacks. So,
Mhm. Either
and
way, it's earth.
yeah, and the benefits can be taken multiple times. It's just the total amount of features you can take is based on the tier. So you could increase your PD by 3 twice with a tier 1 Earth essence. That's just all you could do. Um, let's see, attack boost.
Like we
HP
start getting
boost.
into something different. Like we can't obviously do an XP boost, so that's out.
Mhm.
But we see something that boosts strength, magic, and HP. So that's two earth boosts, and then the
Yeah.
magic would be fire.
Um, so, yep. Which some might say is odd, but the mage based jobs are associated with the fire crystal. Each of the 4 jobs is associated with one of the original elemental crystals. Warrior is earth,
Yep.
expert is wind, mage is fire, and adept is water. Uh,
We don't talk about what crystal the independent ones are.
mhm.
That's just DLC you have to pay for.
But let's see, for EXP boost, since I'm not using EXP, there isn't a direct parallel.
I say skip it.
Yeah. Uh,
Oh, immune to poison from the creamy fowl saute.
mhm. Which in Japanese is translated as chicken and white sauce.
I like how charcuterie on toast is magnificent ham on toast.
Uh, but let's see, immune to poison. I don't think I have a status effect resistance to any of them. So, let's see.
Oh,
Though
you don't.
I'd say this one would probably be water and increasing your skill defenses.
I can see that.
Uh,
Pride
'cause-
Frontier Skewer increases your critical rate along with your HP.
that is
So that would be water as well,
Yep.
yeah.
which one? So critical boost, that would also be water.
Yeah. So the Fried Frontier Skewer would be earth and water because it's an HP boost and a critical boost.
Mm-hmm. Peppery Dagger Quill release as a regen
Pepper
boost.
chicken with
So
You have regen?
Not for cuisine. I'd say that I'd say that would also be a water, but in this case, increasing duration rolls from consumables.
Yeah, because you'd be washing this down with a potion that gives you that ability.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next one is also regen boost, Quillhorn soup.
Yep. Uh, let's see.
Precision omelet.
Although I have to love the stacked ham sandwich. I forgot about
Which one? Oh gods. Yeah, I see that.
that. Is some
Ham
man versus
sandwich.
food
Meat
shit.
you're serving.
That is some man versus food shit.
The way you unlock this recipe, eat the fat chocobo triple decker at Cafe Claire.
Yep. But I'd say so. Spirit boost. I'd
What is
say
spirit in this game again?
um Spirit is one of the six abilities modifiers. I
It's
almost
like
said scores.
magic defense, right?
It can
Spirit dictates magic defense, right?
dictate starting MP, depending on class, as well as magical combat rolls for mage and adept, and spirit-based skill rolls. And whether or not it
So in Final Fantasy, oh, go ahead.
whether or not it ties into magic defense is based on is only the case for mages and adepts.
Mm. Garden curry or vegetable curry, if you were. It gives you flame proof, which is fire resistance.
So let's see.
So
for
wind,
yeah,
because
for
that gives you DR for an element.
yep. As far as spirit boost, that would be I'd say increased MCM
Yeah,
as a
that sounds about right.
features, and that is fire.
Fire.
So
More poison proof. Technician. For Noctis, plus 100% to tech bar fill rate. For allies, plus 100% tech leveling rate, and always perform critical versions of techniques.
water.
Yeah, water. Immune to toad, immune to poison. A lot of it's just coming back again, just stronger.
Which is not that kind of strength thing is something that can be handled by different tiers of essences, so there's no reason to revisit that. Let's see.
Packed mushroom stew. Last stand. Max HP reduced to 10%. Strength and magic plus 500.
I think that's one I'd have to skip. It's way too situational. Let's see. Equalizer.
Next one.
That's also I think a skip.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially since that sort of level difference approach is not something I'm doing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Beanball croquettes, or Quay Quay beanball croquettes, is resilient, immune to all status ailments besides instant death, and you don't have status ailment protection with the
mhm.
cuisine.
Nope, I have that in magic items. And
It's an edible ribbon, everyone.
yep, I'd say resilient is one I'd have to skip. Um, let's see.
Mother and child rice bowl, or fluffy oyakodon.
Mhm.
Special ability is perception boost. Item drop rate plus 50%.
Yeah,
Another skip.
yep, another skip. That is most definitely another skip. Uh, let's see. Endurance, sprinting does not reduce stamina. Is in thick and juicy steak. That's a steak?
It's thick and juicy.
That looks like a Salisbury steak. And apparently one of the
Well,
ingredients
you
is
know.
Catablipas brisket. What the fuck?
Eh? It's a thick
Like-
cut of meat.
Like, look at that thing. How can I look at that and not think of those TV dinner ass Salisbury steaks? Okay,
It has
looking at it a
ginger
little.
in it.
Okay, looking at it a little closer, yeah, I can see the steak there. That is a pitiful amount of carrots, I guess.
I mean, eh?
Uh, but then we have 3 mushroom kebabs, or in Japan, just mushroom. Which,
Badger.
I mean, the ingredients are 3 different types of mushrooms, so I guess. But
I
And-
love this name. Carp of the Diem.
also, there was green soup curry because I'm at soup. Let's just move to the next aisle. There's more soup. Where are you? What store
Why
are
are
you?
you buying clothes at the soup store?
Stop yelling at me! But,
Mm.
oh.
Elemental resistance and
Yeah, carp of the DM, which in Japan was rinsed and chilled carp sashimi bouquet.
yeah, you can tell the localization team took one look at this like carpe diem, carp of the diem.
Japanese wordplay. It's fun.
Um, English wordplay.
Mm-mm. If I didn't know any better, I would have assumed you suggested that one.
I mean, I wouldn't say I wouldn't.
But let's see.
Critical
Oh.
boost, we've already done. I think that's everything.
Yeah. Resistant, which Grilled Mighty Barramundi has. That I already have. I already have a form of elemental resistances. That would be a wind.
Yeah, that would. We already talked about elemental resistance before. That one just
Mhm.
gives elemental resistance to 3 different elements.
Yep.
There's
Oh.
death defying further down with the Tide Grouper Carpaccio,
Hmm.
and that's immune to instant death, which you also don't have
Yeah.
in food form.
I felt that instant death effects are something that doesn't work quite as well in TTRPG form.
Here's something that also doesn't work very well in TTRPG form. Clairvoyant, always land critical hits.
Absolutely not.
Golden Tail Soup.
Mm. And Braveheart is definitely not something I'm going with. From the legendary herb
I
grilled
like
Whopper.
I like how they have the legendary herb grilled Whopper, which is Braveheart. Strength becomes plus 500, magic becomes 0. And immediately following that, Fried Tide Grouper. Attack boost level 50, strength plus 500. Same strength boost, none of the drawbacks.
Mm-hmm. Rock of Ravatar Rice. Why am I hearing Rock the Casbah?
Probably where they got it.
Mm-hmm.
World King on a Stick, or the Absolute King's lightly grilled skewers.
King on a Stick sounds like something that I'd see at a state fair. Especially my state fair, where
Decide.
everything is on a stick.
On a stick.
Let's see.
Kenny's secret recipe.
All of the different things with cup noodles. Koopo Berry Cheesecake.
Yes.
I think this was at the Final Fantasy Cafe.
I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of these recipes, or at least the easier to make ones, would have been in the Final Fantasy Cafe.
Yeah.
Oh look, Scientia style sushi. Always land critical hits.
Mm-hmm. Pit Crew's meat wraps. Those are just tacos.
Yeah. Final Fantasy, for whatever reason, has difficulty explaining what the taco is.
Playing devil's advocate, there probably aren't a lot of Mexican places in Tokyo.
Not a lot. The few that do exist tend to be actually a lot more true to Mexican cuisine than Tex-Mex.
Mm-hmm. And you probably... Look, what happens in Roppongi stays in Roppongi.
I do say that the only reason why I have a feeling that Square Enix has difficulty describing what a taco is how Final Fantasy XIV described what the heck a taco is. Because if you're saying that a taco has a salad inside of it, I don't think you know what a taco is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Google mousse with Koopo berry sauce. Interesting.
I'd probably eat that if it weren't for the fact that the strawberries are chocolate dipped.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh. I see it. Military Man's Banquet.
That looks like something I'd see a really bad MRE from Eastern Europe. Actually, not Eastern Europe. That'd probably be something I'd see in Italy.
Is that pronounced cassoulet? It looks like it should be pronounced cassoulet.
Yeah. And... Let's see.
That's about it.
Yep.
I think we got it.
Mm-hmm. I'm still trying to figure out what
We went from trying to stat the food to just make fun of the names.
Yeah. Though apparently the staff had a camp team to actually make the recipes that they'd use in the game. Basically, they had to make the recipes
fair.
to get the photos for the actual game graphics.
I hope they went to a proper patisserie in order to patissier? A proper baker in order to get those nice little Moogle desserts.
Yeah. Uh, as an aside, it is somewhat amusing that Bahamut has an appearance that does not look anything like he does in any other form, looking less like a dragon and more like a knight.
Yeah, true.
And as mentioned, he's also kind of an asshole.
Kind of.
Okay, I take that back. He is an asshole, especially if you've read the Dawn of the Future novel. But admittedly, some of the other mechanics, like the tech gauge and the like, aren't easy to do. And when it comes to the way FF15 does magic, I already have that accounted for. In the tail end of Chapter 11, there is a alternate magic system called Elemancy. The idea with Elemancy is you cannot take the mage class or any mage associated jobs if this is active. You don't gain HP or MP, and MP related spells or related effects are disabled. You instead have spell containers. These spell containers can act as essentially as a separate type of consumable. The first thing you'd need is drawing upon elemental energy. And it is basically a straight d20 roll divided by 3 that determines how much of it you get. If the natural roll is lower than your highest unlocked circle, you re-roll it. Though it will be in the 1.2 version, this will be updated to be an orienteering roll, much like with essences, so that you could potentially get more EP, and you can reserve elemental energy you don't use. You're spending that EP to craft a spell, and you can use consumables that you have as a catalyst for a spell, which adds an additional effect. Normally, the spell is a single target thing. Using consumables can add additional effects. And you can apply meta magic, it just increases the effective EP. So, although truth be told, whenever I played 15, I didn't use the Elemancy spells as much because there was way too much friendly fire. I.e., the area of effect was way too big, and allies would end up getting caught in the crossfire. But and there are some other elements that can be delved into in the future, but I think we've covered everything that we can for this.
Pretty
So
much. We've gotten the characters, you've already done the weapons, we did the food, you've already done the magic, we're good.
So, the next time that we do this, which will be in 2 weeks, we will be looking at um, Final Fantasy 16. And
Ah, yes.
once we get through that, which I think will be very interesting, uh, then we'll start working on the side material, and then we'll start working on the MMOs. And I will probably end up putting out some remarks saying looking for more um, opinions regarding the MMOs, because I dropped in and out with both 11 and 14 over their lifespans, and it's always nice to have multiple perspectives on this kind of thing. Plus, I know both of those are going to be long ones because of the sheer volume of content that is going to be dealt with. And admittedly, when we get to the spin-offs, obviously Tactics is on the list. I'd probably throw in Tactics Advance and A2. I know it'd be tempting to do those as their own episode, but I don't think that's a good idea. And as far as other spin-offs that would be considered, that's the only major one. The other ones, there's not enough meat on the bones to dedicate an episode to them.
True.
Because I thought the Game Boy games, well, only one of them is actually a Final Fantasy, so that's out. Stranger of Paradise, nah. I feel like Stranger of Paradise would be better served by someone making a solo game.
Mystic Quest. I'm kidding.
And things like The First Soldier, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Crisis Core, I already have the digital mind wave accounted for, so I don't really see. And Materia Fusion is already in the Materia system, so it's already accounted for. Things like Brave Exodus is not really something unique enough to warrant it. Record Keeper, absolutely not. Opera Omnia,
Absolutely not.
absolutely not. All the Bravest.
Well, there is that one anime.
We're not doing Unlimited. And I have an unlimited number of reasons why I'm not doing it.
Fair enough. I made the joke about it before, but I figured we'd get that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Tactics?
Well, that's Tactics and Tactics Advance will be covered.
Okay. So, how about Guys, God Bless the Ring?
I feel like Guys is better served in a game that's built around fighting games. That would be better served with Festival of Fighters than what I've got.
True, but I think it would be funny to try to turn those fighting characters into TTRPG characters through your system.
It'd be tempting, but I think a lot of them would be very samey.
I mean, the dude with rockets in his knees. Anyway.
Well, I already have cybernetics that would account for that.
Anyway, trying to think of anything else that could possibly be done.
I know somebody would probably
Final
say
Fantasy doesn't quite work.
not a lot of what's in World of Final Fantasy could already be done with what I have now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Do we dare go into the Dragon Quest worlds?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'd want to save that for
Chrono
down.
Trigger.
The sole reason I'm hesitant about doing Chrono Trigger is figuring out a way to do the combo system that isn't overwrought.
That is true, and I wouldn't want to go into Chrono Cross because that's way too many characters.
Well, also the fact that I'd have to have a completely new form of spellcasting if I did Chrono Cross.
Yeah, no.
And I'll tackle that one day. Today is not that day.
Xenogears without the giant robots?
Mm, Blades of Ether exists, which is handling Xenoblade Chronicles. Wouldn't be too far to bridge one to the other. Um,
Fair.
but I think that's I was already stretching things when I statted out Aya from Parasite Eve.
Oh, okay, but like we really need a Parasite Eve remake.
We may not be getting a remake, but we are getting a successor.
True.
Which I played the demo for that not too long ago. It is really, really damn good.
Ooh. I'm just trying to think of any Square Enix properties we haven't really, Final Fantasy adjacent properties that we could probably do.
Um,
That wouldn't be too samey.
the only one that comes to mind, and I feel like this is something that Alex T would do better in his systems than what I do, is Vagrant Story.
True. It is in the Evilise.
Yeah. And Alex T, a very good friend of the channel, is the guy responsible for a lot of the games from Black Oath. And a lot of those games are built with solo play in mind. And that very much fits what Vagrant Story is. It is a solo dungeon crawl.
Let's
So
see.
I think the next episode of Fated Continuum after 16 is going to be I'm going to call it the Tactics trilogy to
Okay.
account for Tactics, Tactics Advance, and A2.
Understandable.
Though I will note I have no intention of replicating the job trees that those games have.
There's no need to.
Um, there's no need to, and before anyone asks, no, we're not doing arithmetician.
Aww.
If someone
But I
else
love calculator.
if I think someone in the early days of the server house ruled that, uh, but things as well as house ruling a freelancer job, which, if I'm being honest, I think freelancer works better as a alternate character creation like what I have with Materia rather than a individual job.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Okay. Ooh, Octopath Traveler.
Octopath I'd want to tackle on its own, and I need to revisit it to see how I'd have the how its particular combat system work. And same with the Bravely series. I already dipped into the Bravely series with some of the jobs, and I didn't dip into any from Bravely Default 2 because every job that was there I already had accounted for.
Its second verse same as the first, except for like a couple of others, but even those couple of others are just renames of other jobs.
And like I remember somebody brought up, what about the Charioteer? And I'm like, what that does I have accounted for with the Chocobo Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And things like the Patissier, aside from how gimmicky the Patissier is, that's just chemist.
Yeah, it is.
I think there was one other in 2 that was basically a Dark Knight in all but name.
Vampire, I think.
Maybe.
No, wait, Vampire was Blue Mage,
Hmm.
and later turned to Catmancer.
Yeah, and well, I already have Blue Mage,
Yes.
so
Ooh, the Mana series. Sorry, I'm just literally looking at a list of like Square Enix games.
yeah. The Mana series, that goes all over the place, and there's not enough of a connective tissue.
There really isn't.
So I'd end up running into the same problem that delayed the Wild Arms game I wanted to write, where between like just Secret of Mana and Legend of Mana, there's so the elemental spirits are the main thing that's kept, but everything else is not.
Can't really do Valkyrie profile. One, that's a lot of characters, and two, a lot of them get a bit samey.
I think the only Valkyrie profile I think I'd have a chance with doing is Covenant of the Plume, which has its own problems.
Yeah.
I consider that probably one of the more unforgiving tactics RPGs on the DS.
Very true. Very true.
I didn't say bad, just unforgiving. But that being said, when we come back here next week, we'll be delving into more of Anima. In fact, next week we're going to be doing the Omega trilogy, talking about the card game trilogy of Shadow of Omega, Beyond Good and Evil, and Twilight of the Gods. That will be the penultimate episode of Reflections of Gaia. And the week after that, we'll be looking at FF16. And of course, tomorrow, I will be joined by Flame Scion, delving into the final bits of Nimble. Now, Monsters and More is on the horizon, but I'm not expecting that for a while, so that's not going to be a priority for the time being. So, we've certainly got that to look forward to. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.
Bye.